friends. Tighten your seat belts, plug the earphones and get ready for a tour of most romantic city of the world, Paris. After watching this video fully, you will know everything about Paris. Its history, geography, main tourist places, attractions, hotels, prices, shopping, art, culture and much more. So, are you ready? Let's go. Paris is known for a lot of things, but perhaps the most famous is the city of love. Love is always in the air when you visit Paris. From history to the modern day, Paris remains a destination for people celebrating love or looking for the alluring emotion. Over 30 million people visit the city of love every year. From the moment you arrive, you'll surely understand why. But what makes it obvious that Paris is by excellence the city of love? They have a wall of love. And they call it le mur de je t'aime. The phrase, I love you, covers the wall in 250 languages. Couples from all over the world will surely find their selfie spot in front of the wall. Paris, the cosmopolitan capital of France, is one of the largest agglomerations in Europe, with 21 million people. In the center north of the country on the river Seine, Paris has the reputation of being the most beautiful and romantic of all cities, brimming with historic associations and remaining vastly influential in the realms of culture, art, fashion, food and design. Dubbed the City of Light, La Ville Lumière, and capital of fashion, it is home to some of the world's finest and most luxurious fashion designers and cosmetics, such as Chanel, Christian Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, Guerlain, Lancôme, L'Oréal, and Clarins. A large part of the city, including the banks of the Seine, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The city has the second highest number of Michelin-starred restaurants in the world and contains numerous iconic landmarks such as the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, Notre Dame de Paris, the Louvre, the Moulin Rouge and the Basilique du Sacré-Cœur, making it one of the most popular international tourist destinations in the world, with around 14 million tourists annually. To enjoy the wonders of Paris, make realistic plans. The amounts of attractions and landmarks is overwhelming. Visiting only the most famous ones, which can be overcrowded during major holidays, takes more than a week. The city also has more to offer for people who take time for a calm stroll along the back streets. If your time in the city is short, be selective, and save some attractions for your next visit. Paris has an oceanic climate with moderately cold winters and warm summers. Even in January, the coldest month, temperatures nearly always exceed the freezing point with an average high of 7 degrees Celsius, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow is not common in Paris, although it can fall a few times per year. Most of Paris precipitation comes in the form of light rain year-round. Spring and fall are normally cool and wet. The best and cheapest way to get around Paris is on foot, and secondly, using the metro, which is €1.90 for a one-way trip of any length. Walking in Paris is one of the great pleasures of visiting the City of Light. It is possible to cross the entire city in only a few hours, but only if you can somehow keep yourself from stopping at numerous cafes and shops. The smartest travelers take advantage of the walkability of this city, and stay above ground as much as possible. Paris has an excellent underground train system, known as the Metro. Look for the metro stations marked with a large M sign or with an old-styled sign saying Metropolitan. Each station displays a detailed map of the surrounding area with a street list and the location of buildings, monuments, schools, places of worship, etc., as well as exits for that particular metro. A bus ride is interesting if you want to see more of the city. All stops have a name and are clearly marked on the street. At complex intersections, stops usually have a situation map that lets you know where other lines stop and, if applicable, where to find a metro entrance. There are several excellent boat services which make use of the Seine. As well as providing easy, cheap transport to much of central Paris, excellent photo opportunities abound. You can buy a 3-day ticket and hop on and off the boat as needed. The boats take a circular route from the Eiffel Tower, down past the Louvre, Notre Dame, Botanical Gardens, then back up the other bank past Musée d'Orsay. Renting a bike is a very good alternative over driving or using public transport and an excellent way to see the sights. Riding a bike anywhere in the city is far safer for the moderately experienced cyclists than almost any town or city in the United States. The French are very cognizant of cyclists, almost to a point of reverence. If you want to see Paris in a car, I would suggest in a word, don't. It is generally a very bad idea to rent a car to visit Paris. Traffic is very dense during the day, and parking is, on average, exceedingly difficult and expensive. Taxis are comparatively cheap, especially at night when there are no traffic jams to be expected. There are not as many as one would expect, and sometimes finding a taxi can be challenging. Paris is considered by many as the birthplace of photography, and while one may debate the correctness of this claim, there is no debate that Paris is today a photographer's dream. The French capital offers a spectacular array of photographic expositions and opportunities to the beginner and the pro alike. It has photogenic monuments like Arc de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower, the obelisk at Concorde, and countless others, architecture like the Louvre, Notre Dame, the Museum of the Arab World, and urban street scenes. Paris is one of the great fashion centers of the Western world, up there with New York, London, and Milan, making it a shopper's delight. While the Paris fashion scene is constantly evolving, the major shopping centers tend to be the same. High-end couture can be found in the 8th arrondissement. Paris has 3 main flea markets, all on the outskirts of the central city. The most famous of these is the Marché aux Puces de Saint-Ouen, Porte de Clignancourt Flea Market, Metro, Porte de Clignancourt, in the 18th, a haven for lovers of antiques, second-hand goods, and retro fashion. The best days to go are Saturday and Sunday. For art lovers, be sure to check out Quartier Saint-Germain-des-Prés, which is renowned for its galleries, and it is impossible to turn a street without finding a gallery to cast your glance in. On Fridays, most open until late. Paris is one of Europe's culinary centers, where the haute cuisine has flourished since at least the French Revolution. For good food and great service, try to go eat where the locals eat. It is frequent to hear of people complaining of very high Parisian prices for poor food and poor service, because they always try to eat close to major tourist attractions. In some cases, when the restaurant is crowded, you may have to sit beside strangers at the same table. If that does not appeal to you, go to a more upscale place where you will pay for the extra space. The bar scene in Paris really does have something for everyone. from bars which serve drinks in baby bottles to ultra-luxe clubs that require some name-dropping, or card, black Amex, showing, and clubs where you can dance like no one's watching, although they will be. To start your night out right, grab a drink or two in a ubiquitous dive bar, before burning up the dance floor and spreading some cash, at one of the trendy clubs. Being often declared the most popular travel destination in the world, Paris has far over 1,000 hotels to choose from. There are huge differences in standards, and location is key to make your stay in Paris enjoyable and time used well. Be prepared to pay the price for Paris' popularity. Even the cheap hotels are relatively expensive. Paris is still a relatively safe city. This does not stop it from being plagued by petty crime, especially pickpocketing, and muggings. The metro and RER are also a popular place for pickpockets. Hold things tightly and be aware of your surroundings. Pickpockets are most likely to be found working at crowded tourists' hotspots, so keep your wallet and phone in your front pockets and hold your backpack tightly when in a crowd. There are hefty fines for littering in Paris, especially with dog droppings. Often you'll find free plastic bags dispensers around parks or playgrounds. The city of Paris provides free internet access via 400 Wi-Fi access points throughout the city, including many public parks. Look for the network called Paris_Wi-Fi_, followed by some digits, on your laptop or PDA. Now we shall visit the main attractions of Paris. Number 1 is the Eiffel Tower. Visiting the iconic symbol of Paris usually ranks as the number 1 thing to do for most tourists. Towering more than 1,000 feet (300 meters) high in the Champ de Mars Park, this iron structure was constructed for the 1889 World Exposition. One of the world's most photographed tourist attractions, the Eiffel Tower presents an excellent photography opportunity for both day and night times. Visitors can ride the elevator to see incredible views of the city or dine in one of the 2 fine restaurants that are situated within the tower. At number 2 is Chateau De Versailles. Thanks to centuries of makeovers, the Chateau De Versailles can claim the title of most sumptuous pad in Paris. Once a modest hunting lodge, the building has grown with each resident and has 2,300 rooms that have housed various French royalty over the years. The majority of the lavish work was commissioned by Louis XIV in 1678, who is responsible for adding the wondrous Hall of Mirrors, as well as the elegant and expansive grounds. It can get busy at peak times, so book a skip-the-line ticket beforehand and arrive early. Don't miss, if you're visiting during summer, there are magnificent musical fountain shows at night. And number 3 is Disneyland, that is Euro Disney. When Europeans can't get to Los Angeles to see the original Disneyland, they head to Disneyland Paris, the most visited theme park in Europe. Just like its namesake, Disneyland Paris is more than just a theme park with spectacular rides. It's a resort with hotels, shopping and golf among its varied activities. In 1992, it became the second Disney park to open outside of the United States. It's located about 30 kilometers (20 miles) from central Paris. A companion park, Walt Disney Studios Park, opened in 2002. The 4th tourist attraction is the Seine cruise. The river Seine runs nearly 800 kilometers (500 miles) through France on its way to the English Channel. Cruising the river as it winds through Paris is one of the most romantic things visitors can do. Seine cruises pass under numerous bridges in Paris, going by such sites as the Louvre, Notre Dame Cathedral and the Eiffel Tower. A Seine cruise lasts about an hour, but what a magic hour it is. A Seine cruise also is a good way to experience Paris at night. The next attraction is Place de la Concorde. At the east end of the Champs-Élysées is Place de la Concorde, the largest square in Paris with fantastic vistas in every direction. It was in this square that the French King Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette and many others were guillotined during the French Revolution. The large 3,200-years-old Egyptian obelisk in the center of the Place de la Concorde was brought from the Temple of Luxor in the 19th century. Now, we shall visit Sainte-Chapelle. Begun sometime after 1239, the Sainte-Chapelle is considered among the highest achievements of Gothic architecture. Its construction was commissioned by King Louis IX of France to house his collection of Passion relics, including Christ's crown of thorns, one of the most important relics in medieval Christendom. Although damaged during the French Revolution, and restored in the 19th century, it retains one of the most extensive in situ collections of 13th-century stained glass anywhere in the world. And, here is the shopper's paradise. Champs-Élysées. The tree-lined Avenue des Champs-Élysées is Paris's most famous street and has even been described as the most beautiful avenue in the world. Just over a mile long, the boulevard connects the Arc de Triomphe and the Place de la Concorde. Life in Paris centers around the Champs-Élysées. It's an avenue lined with restaurants, upscale boutiques, museums and nightclubs. On the other end of Champs-Élysées is Arc de Triomphe. One of the most popular tourist attractions in Paris, the Arc de Triomphe was constructed in 1806 to memorialize the triumphal battles of Napoleon Bonaparte. Standing 164 feet high and 148 feet 50 by 45 meters wide, the arch features intricate reliefs depicting victorious battles and engraved names of many who died fighting for the emperor. Beneath the arch is the tomb of the unknown soldier from the First World War. Now, we will visit Louvre Museum. Topping the list of the world's most visited museums, the Louvre Museum is located in the Louvre Palace with its signature glass pyramid marking its entrance. Housing a collection of more than 1 million objects, the Louvre boasts some of the world's most famous artworks such as Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Michelangelo's Dying Slave, and the Greek statue, Venus of Milo. After this, there is Notre Dame de Paris. No trip to Paris could be complete without a visit to the world-famous Notre Dame Cathedral. Standing more than 400 feet 120 meters high with two lofty towers and a spire, this marvelous church is considered a supreme example of French Gothic architecture. A tour of this 13th-century masterpiece allows visitors to admire the awe-inspiring rose windows, Gothic carvings, beautiful sculptures and a collection of relics. For the brave hearts, you can also visit Les Catacombs. In contrast with the City of Lights, Les Catacombs represents the dark side of Paris. Just under a mile long beneath the streets of Paris, this tourist attraction presents a gruesome sight, the remains of millions of Parisians who were. Bones are arranged artistically, poems and other passages can be found throughout. Some bodies, such as those killed in the French Revolution, came directly here, bypassing the cemeteries. Then visit the famous Moulin Rouge. The year 1889 is known as the year when France's most famous landmark, the Eiffel Tower, was constructed. It's also the year the Moulin Rouge opened its doors as an entertainment venue. When it opened, it catered to the rich who wanted to slum it. Courtesans worked there and were responsible for inventing the can-can, a dance considered racy for the era. The Moulin Rouge is still considered Paris's premier entertainment venue and has been the subject of numerous films. Besides all above attractions, Paris is also known for the world's best perfumer. France is easily known as the home of perfumes. Many worldwide perfumes are produced here, so it would be a benefit to you to buy one when you visit France, as there are many special discounts. That's all in this video, and our tour of Paris ends here. If you liked this video, please write your comments, share it to your friends and subscribe the channel for more such videos. Bye bye.